Welcome to a busted play, an illegal use of hands to the face short.
Well, if you're fans of this YouTube channel, you saw yesterday that we had a great single day of Jake Funk hype, where we got to talk about it on yesterday's small video. And now we tragically have to come back down to earth and realize that Jake Funk will probably not be getting a significant amount of carries this season, as the LA Rams have now traded for Sony Michel from the New England Patriots. Jake, what are your thoughts on this trade?
I thought the Rams were really going to be pumping up the funk, but apparently not. The New England Patriots got a lot of value out of that Sony Michel trade. Getting 2 picks for a guy that wasn't even going to touch the field for him, that's great. Less need from the Rams. I also don't think it was a bad trade for the Rams either. They needed a running back. I don't really know if Sony Michel has the ability to be a top tier running back, but they need a second guy who's not going to be getting a ton of carries. And that's a role that Sony Michel can slot in nicely to. I mean, he did it well last season. Just not the feature back that they need, or they don't need a featured back. That's what I'm trying to get at. They don't need a featured back, so bringing him in with 2 low value picks, good on the Rams for getting him, good on the Patriots for getting some value from him.
I really, when I saw that, I was like, wow, I'm kind of surprised this happened. I just wasn't expecting it this late in the offseason. If it happened a little bit earlier, I would have been a lot less surprised, but I was surprised by the timing. On the other hand, the trade itself, like I said, if it had happened earlier, it really makes sense to me. It seems like the Patriots have kind of wanted to move on from Sony Michel, whether or not they've said it. The rest of the backs really don't feel similar to him. He feels like he's kind of an outlier in terms of what they're trying to do nowadays. Whereas before they usually would want at least one guy on the roster that was like him. But once Brady's gone, I feel like it changes some stuff. So I'm not as surprised to see him leave. But also from the Patriots' perspective, you spent a first-round pick on him fairly recently, not too long ago, actually. And now you're only getting a 5th and a 6th in return. I don't feel like that's great. From the Rams' perspective, yes, saddened that we lose our Jake Funk hype. You know, we were so excited for that this season. There was no way not to be. But on the other hand, how this actually probably helps them, I believe that he gets on that team and he actually is the number 1 running back nearly immediately. From what I've seen from Darrell Henderson, I haven't been impressed with him enough to say that that he should be the number 1 running back. I don't think he should. I think that Sony Michel is more talented, and I also think that he's ahead of Jake Funk at this point in Jake Funk's career, sadly. Which means that Jake Funk's the 3, Darrell Henderson's the 2, and Sony Michel is the 1 for the time being. It's just how quickly can he learn the playbook, but at least when he's taking handoffs, I don't think outside zone is anything too complicated for a running back to get used to.
Darrell Henderson is also day-to-day with a thumb injury that he got today as well, so that, I think, helped the Rams in pulling the trigger on this trade. And I can't disagree with you on Sony Michel eventually probably being the number 1 back right away for the Rams. I'm a little hesitant to say that Darrell Henderson, he's been there longer. I also want to see more from him in the regular season, not just in the preseason. I'm just disappointed that Jake Funk isn't going to get the opportunity that we know he deserves.
We do know that he deserves it. But also,
Yes.
just in terms of actual Sony Michel stock, though, we should probably talk about that for a moment. I said I don't love that the Patriots are getting a 5th and a 6th back since they spent a first-round pick on him not too long ago. I don't think that's great. But at the same time, I don't think that in terms of what he was doing for the team now, that this was a bad trade. I think it was a good trade in terms of what he was doing for the team now. I don't think he was going to change much for what the New England Patriots were going to do this upcoming season. And you want to talk about a fantasy perspective, it feels like if we've talked about an individual position group the most this offseason in terms of how they change on a week-to-week basis. It feels like it's the Rams running back room because we're so confident in that offense, and yet the running back room has just been up, down, up, down, up, down all over the place the entire offseason. So now I'd say the lead guy is Sony Michel, as I said before, and he could really be a decent RB1 in fantasy football this season.
It's just funny that Rams running back room. Daryl Henderson hasn't had too many injury problems. It's just that he has this injury now, this thumb injury. Sony Michel had a couple injuries early in his career. Cam Akers is out now. Jake Funk tore both of his ACLs in college. It's like, yeah, the running back by committee or next man up mentality, that does work for teams from time to time. But the Rams, it's just been like, we could just put whoever we want back there. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know how great of an idea it is when the entire running back room is a bunch of guys who do have injury concerns in their past. I think it may be a better idea to look for some guys with a little better health situations. But, I mean, I do think that the Rams got better here, and I think that the Patriots didn't get any worse while acquiring draft capital. So do you really think that anyone lost this trade at this point? Probably not. Just the fact that it was the first-round pick for the Patriots before.
Yeah, and it looks like Belichick has gotten better at drafting, at least comparing the draft that Sony Michel was in to this latest one. So if he can actually use those 6th and 7th round picks like he used his picks this year, they might actually turn into something better than Sony Michel.
Very well could. Anyways, I don't think I have anything more on the topic, so do you?
No, I think we can cut this here.